The truth about Kamala Harris is finally starting to come out, and there's nothing the big tech companies or the mainstream media can do to spin this one, because yesterday we saw a historic drop in the stock market. And of course, a reason for this could possibly be Kamala Harris clinching the Democratic nomination and of course announcing one of the most left-leaning VP picks ever. All right, and this will be reflected in the polling. And speaking of polling, check this out. But before we get to the clips, please like and comment so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Still, in a new poll, just 25% of registered voters said they'd be better off financially under a President Harris, while nearly half said they'd be better off under a second Trump term.
So this information is from the CBS YouGov poll that we mentioned yesterday. And despite being horribly oversampled by Democrats and supposedly showing Kamala Harris trouncing Donald Trump in the general election, guess what? Only 25% of the people think they'll be better off under Kamala Harris versus 45% of the respondents thinking they'll be better off under Donald Trump. And these numbers are backed up by what we're also seeing in the Rasmussen poll. Most likely voters believe her economic agenda, Kamala Harris's, will be worse or the same as Biden's. They found that 38% believe it'll be worse, 33% think it'll be about the same, and 22% believe it will be better. All right. In the survey, 53% said that the Biden-Harris economic plan has been unsuccessful. Now, when asked about former President Donald Trump's economy, 51% said it will be better and 38% said it will be worse. So we're seeing, of course, people speaking about the most important topic when it comes to elections. And that, of course, is the economy, your pocketbook. How do you feel about it? And followed closely by that, of course, is immigration. How do you feel about that as well? And one more time, we have over here Nate Silver saying something very interesting. He, of course, is the founder of 538, an organization that he sold, and now, of course, is kind of a left-leaning propaganda. But guess what? They don't have any forecasts yet on Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, despite the fact that there was tons of information about her polling before she became the nominee. But now all of a sudden, hey, it's not all there. And Nate Silver, who, by the way, took all of his models with him when he left 538, says, my theory is that Harris was doing worse than Biden in their model, and they're waiting until she's doing at least as well or otherwise what to do about that. So in other words, they're not seeing the proper bumps they were hoping for. So they're possibly trying to hold back that public information so they can shape public perception as opposed to reflecting it. Now, of course, this is all very good news for the Trump campaign, but what also is good news is that radical left VP pick Kamala Harris just made. Let's check this out.
What worries me is you see a lot of relief from the conservatives. They were scared of Josh Shapiro. They were scared of a Mark Kelly. They thought that would help define Kamala more to the middle. You see a lot of rejoicing on the right. That's not good. Also, you've got some disquiet in the Jewish community. Some people had their hopes up. Maybe you're going to get another shot at a Jewish vice president. We haven't had that for 2 decades, and now that gets pulled away. Is it just because he's a moderate, or is there some anti-Jewish bias here? So the party is still digesting this. I think if you're a Muslim or a young Arab or someone who's concerned about Gaza, it gives you a reason to stay excited about Kamala, because that was going to be hard for the party to digest. So you've got a party now trying to figure out, is this good? Is this bad? What does it mean for the young people?
So here's Van Jones in another candid moment, surprisingly, saying, yeah, the conservatives are elated that we have such a far left person like Tim Walz being picked as the VP, all right? And by the way, it's pronounced Wall, not Walls, apparently, so we're going to stick with that, I guess. And so, yes, there is no way that Josh Shapiro could get the nod from Kamala Harris because the far left base wouldn't stand for it. So to shore them up, it's like, yeah, can't go with the Jewish guy because for whatever reason, progressive leftists love Hamas and hate Israel. So that's the bed they have. They're going to have to lie in it. And yes, Tim Walz is a gift. He is such a leftist person that it'll be easy for J.D. Vance to take him apart in their upcoming debates. And it'll be easy, just meat to go after for the Trump campaign. If you don't believe me, he's a leftist, check this out.
But we can get out there, reach out, make the case. And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
It's done.
A packed room at the St. Paul Armory erupted after the governor's signature made driver's license for all the law of the land.
So here's Tim Walz saying, hey, we're not going to shy away from our progressive values. We are going to embrace socialism. And of course, we're going to give illegal immigrants driver's licenses. Guess how that's going to play out in middle America? And of course, all of the overrun sanctuary cities across the country. All right. And of course, he's a gun grabber. He's everything a leftist, socialist, communist should be, which is why he's not going to fly in the upcoming election. It's a total gimme for the Republicans, and J.D. Vance is going to take this progressive person apart. Now, of course, what we're going to also see is the Kamala Harris campaign. She's not facing any opposition yet, but we're going to see her called out more and more as the campaign continues. Check this out from Tom Cotton.
Why attack a governor and a secretary of state who are popular with Republicans in that key battleground state?
Well, Ed, I think it's obvious that those guys have their differences, and they have had them for a long time. But what they agree on, what we all agree on, is what a disaster Kamala Harris would be as president. She is a dangerous San Francisco liberal who wants to do things like take your health insurance away on the job and give it to illegal aliens because she wants to decriminalize illegal immigration into this country. That's just the small tip of the iceberg of her radical views. So obviously they have their differences, but we're all united in the need to stop Kamala Harris, because if you think the last 4 years have been bad for your family, the worst is yet to come if Kamala Harris gets elected president. But remember, she's only been the nominee for 2 weeks now. She hasn't answered a single question, not one single question by the media, Ed. She's only had one single unscripted moment Thursday night at Andrews Air Force Base, welcoming those hostages back. And she served up the kind of incomprehensible word salad for which she's become famous. When she has to encounter the media, and I'm sure you're going to insist that she does, she's going to have to answer for things like why she wants to eliminate oil and gas production in this country, why she wants to ban gas-powered cars, why she wants to confiscate private firearms. So we knew this race was going to be close all along, whoever the Democrats wanted to put up against President Trump. But Kamala Harris has only been the nominee for 2 weeks and hasn't answered a single question. When the American people get a better look at her and her radical positions, I think you're going to see that they don't want her to continue the Biden-Harris legacy.
I appreciate that you're critical of her not doing more interviews and engaging in more unscripted events. You've just done a decent job there of explaining the potential policy differences between the former president and the vice president.
Yeah, this is kind of strange, right? A little unprecedented. Kamala Harris is the nominee essentially for 2 weeks, and she has done nothing, right? She's not out there speaking to the press. She's not doing these events and fundraisers, okay? If they are, they're behind closed doors, and it's all completely scripted. She reads from a teleprompter and gets the heck out of there. But as the people are exposed to how she actually acts, how dumb she actually is, and all of the policies she actually supports, they're going to be turned off from her in a big way. And Tom Cotton did a great job there of pointing all of that out. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.